Hello again. I'm Bob Weir with the Cross Timbers Gazette, and I have a guest here today who everybody probably already knows is running for the chairmanship of the Denton Republican Party, and her name is Lisa Hendrickson. So what you don't know about Lisa is that she was recently arrested. She was arrested about almost a year ago, and she took a situation that was a negative one, and she turned it around and was actually responsible for legislation that made Texas permit gun holders in a better position, that this would not happen to them. And I'll let her tell you about it. Please, Lisa, let us know what exactly happened. How were you arrested?
Oh yes, something I never thought I'd say. On February 24th, 2015, my son and I, Joshua, were heading to CPAC in DC. And I had a purse that was made after getting a CHL and going through the classes. I had a purse that I purchased that actually held my weapon that I make sure you don't accidentally shoot anybody. So I never saw it in my purse on purpose. And so anyway, we head to the airport, put it on the belt, and you go through and everything's normal until they shut things down and the police start showing up. And at that point, someone says that they've found a gun, and then horror sets in because I realize it's me. The officers were absolutely amazing through the entire process, but the tune that I continued to hear while being processed, which is, by the way, code for being arrested, that it happens all the time, happens all the time, happens all the time. And they began to share with me that it happens 3 to 4 times on average at just DFW alone. And it's increasing because as CHL holders increase, so are the arrests. And one of the officers said, CHL holders, you just forget that you're carrying because it becomes like breathing. So as I was being booked and processed, again, the 2 nice ladies at the jail said this happens all the time. So I spent the night in jail because it was late in the afternoon and the judge had already gone home. 19 plus hours in jail, something that's incredibly frightening because your freedom has just been taken and everything runs through your head. So through that process, bonding out of jail the next morning, the those gentlemen share with me, yes, we it happens all the time. We wish we could let you return it to your car. And I said, well, why can't you? And he said, well, that's the law. And I said, well, the law needs to change. And he said, well, good luck with that. And so we rebooked our tickets, finished our travel, and when we returned, I made a phone call to Senator Nelson's office, and they were absolutely amazing. Immediately met with me, and I voiced my concern, and by that time had done a great deal of research to find out that almost 3,000 people at DFW last year were arrested just at DFW alone, not including Hobby, Austin, and any other airports around Dallas and Texas. So through that, they began immediately looking at legislation and how we could help the citizens of Texas make sure this doesn't happen anymore. Within a few days, received a phone call from their Austin office saying, oh my gosh, you're right, this happens all the time. However, there's a bill on the floor in the State House that we think addresses exactly this. We're going to do a little bit more research, and if this can help all of Texas, we will actually, Senator Nelson will pick it up, bring it to the Senate, and we'll get it passed. So at that moment, I'm extremely excited because to make the difference for every single other person in the state of Texas. The gentleman across from me that night was actually TSA approved and was also arrested. And I received a phone call from Alice Tripp with the Texas Rifle Association, and she shared, Lisa, I know you're going through a lot of hard times right now because it's also a fine with TSA, $0 to $10,000, and said, but we want you to know that we've been trying to get legislation passed for years, and we think we finally have a shot because you raised your voice. And Senator Nelson is your senator, and she is one of the most powerful senators in Texas. And if she picks it up, we actually think we have a shot. And she said, please stay connected with them because they do have a lot on their plate. I said, oh, yes, ma'am, I will. And Senator Nelson, again, stayed on it, did exactly what she said. And they got brought it to the Senate floor. House Bill 554, I believe, came Senate Bill 554. They had the bill passed. Governor Abbott signed it, and it went into law as of September 1st of last year. And because of this, you will be allowed to return it to your car. And, oh, my case was dismissed, which was a really a beautiful thing to hear, case dismissed.
I'll bet. Well, that's a harrowing experience, but you took a lemon and made lemonade out of it. So I think it would be pretty obvious that you wouldn't have your pistol in your purse and have it go through the screen unless it was an accident, unless it was inadvertent.
Well, it was funny too, the judge, when I was getting out of jail, shared with me, he said, this was obvious that this was unintentional. And I'm thinking in my head, well, of course it's unintentional, because you don't think about the bad guys that are actually doing this. And he said, because you didn't have it wrapped in aluminum foil. And I'm thinking, note to self, okay, bad guys wrap guns in aluminum foil.
Is that how it works?
I guess it was a newsflash to me. It was just more exciting to actually be a part of something that would make a difference for people that may never know.
Yeah.
And Eagle Gun Range was great to chat with too, because they hear a lot of people that happens to. So actually, Eagle Gun Range helped me take a safety class in regards to guns, to make sure that we can help people remember those things. So that was legislation that they were also thrilled to have about.
Well, that's really astounding in a way. I mean, you didn't just sit by and let that happen and forget about it, and all the other people that you found out are going through this regularly. You
Yeah.
actually did something about it. Now, this is really important. The fact that a lot of people would have gone through that and said, oh, how terrible it is, but you know, I'm just going to let it go. But you didn't let it go. You went out and you actually worked at it, and thank God for someone like Senator Nelson. She's truly a great leader for the state, and actually had legislation passed for it. That's amazing.
Well,
I really credit you with that. I think that's something to respect.
Thank you for that. It was a frightening experience, yet it was also something that it occurred to me afterwards, because I had friends that would say, Lisa, I would have never thought to call my rep or my senator. And that was probably just as frustrating to me, because these people work for you. That's what they're there for. And that's part of, I think, educating the public on, let's get back to the basics.
Right, a lot of people would just give up.
Yeah.
They just figure, what's the use? You can't fight. You can't
fight City Hall.
City Hall, and let it go. So, anyway, I think you deserve a lot of respect for doing that, and you've helped a lot of people in the state who might have gone through the same harrowing experience as you did. So thank you for being here and telling us that,
Thank you so
Lisa.
much.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for watching.